Greetings world. The FCC has become a great danger to the internet. The FCC is attempting to strip down and remove Title II of net neutrality. Net neutrality is the basic principle that protects our free speech on the internet. Title II of the Communications Act is what provides the legal foundation for net neutrality and prevents internet service providers like Comcast, Verizon, Time Warner, and AT&T from slowing down and blocking websites, or charging apps and sites extra fees to reach an audience which they then pass along to consumers. The internet has thrived precisely because of net neutrality. It's what makes it so vibrant and innovative, a place for creativity, free expression, and exchange of ideas. Without net neutrality, the internet will become more like cable TV, where the content you see is what your provider puts in front of you. Let us break it down to you. This is a story about that mom and pop shop down the street. How many of those shops do you normally see nowadays? Big businesses and warehouse stores have almost made it a thing of the past. The main reason is because small businesses can keep overhead down enough to keep prices competitive with huge chain stores. Luckily, the mom and pop store down the street are ahead of their time and supplement their income with online sales, which greatly help their bottom line. What will that mean for this small family business? What it could mean is that before now online, this small business had a chance. They could stand up and be noticed. They could reach more people, lower their inventory and overhead, as well as open opportunities for growth that far outreach their communities. Sound good, right? We love a good story about the underdog succeeding. But wait, what's this? The FCC wants to take down net neutrality. Small family businesses are being pushed out of towns and cities to make room for big companies with large warehouses and bank accounts, and now thanks to net neutrality being attacked and basically dismantled from the inside out, small businesses are being pushed off the internet too. We are taught about the American dream that if we work hard and keep focused on a goal that we can own a home, a business, and make a comfortable life for our family, but as many people know, that is beginning to be a thing of the past. Not only has Fannie and Freddie helped ruin the dream of owning a home for countless Americans, but now it appears that the FCC will attack the American small business owner on the very same platform they had made their last stand, the internet. We know what you may be thinking, Anonymous. It's okay. Take off your tinfoil hat. Large ISP have come out in support of net neutrality. They are only misunderstood. Our response to this is, are you getting up? First off, let's be honest, these corporations are going to say and do whatever they can to get more money in their pockets. They do not care about the little guy or small businesses, and they certainly don't care about being honest with the public. But Anonymous, isn't this just a possibility? What makes you think the big evil companies would actually do this sort of thing? Well, we could start with history, since it has proven to be quite the indicator in the past. In 2007, Verizon decided they would block text messages to their customers from pro-choice America due to their own moral stance. Don't believe us? Search it at DuckDuckGo. Whatever your stance on abortion rights, you must see the concern here. If companies we pay to give us access to the internet are allowed to pick and choose the information that gets to the public, that is censorship at its highest form. Keep the internet neutral, America. Small mom and pop businesses have been slowly but surely pushed out of Main Street, USA. Please, for the sake of what's left of the American dream, let's not let them get pushed from the internet as well.
We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
People often ask me, what's going to happen? And the answer is, it's up to you, right? You get to decide what will happen. This isn't something playing out on a stage somewhere where big giants fight each other and you get to sit and munch popcorn. This is a fight you can join in. right? So if you go to demandprogress.org and sign up, we have actions every week. There are bills that are coming up that could crack down on internet freedom. There are companies trying to abuse their power. And it's up to all of us to stop them. We make it really easy to call your congressman, to call these companies, to write letters, to file lawsuits. All of these things that we can do as citizens are now made super easy because of the internet. And so we've got to take advantage of that to protect the internet. It's up to you.
I know.
Because if you looked at the introduction of the law, it wasn't just introduced by one rogue, eccentric member of Congress. It was introduced by the chair of the Judiciary Committee and co-sponsored by nearly all the other members, Republicans and Democrats. So yes, there'd be a vote, but it wouldn't be much of a surprise, because nearly everyone who was voting had signed their name to the bill before it was even introduced. Now, I can't stress how unusual this is. This is emphatically not how Congress works. I'm not talking about how Congress should work, the way you see on Schoolhouse Rock. I mean, this is not the way Congress actually works. I mean, I think we all know Congress is a dead zone of deadlock and dysfunction. There are months of debates and horse trading and hearings and stall tactics. I mean, first you're supposed to announce that you're going to hold hearings on a problem, and then days of experts talking about the issue, and then you propose a possible solution, you bring the experts back for their thoughts on that, and then other members have different solutions, and they propose those, and you spend a bunch of time debating, and there's a bunch of trading to get members over to your cause, and finally you spend hours talking one-on-one with the different people in the debate, try and come back with some sort of compromise, which you hash out in endless backroom meetings. And then when that's all done, you take that, and you go through it line by line in public to see if anyone has any objections or wants to make any changes, and then you have the vote. It's a painful, arduous process. You don't just introduce a bill on Monday and then pass it unanimously a couple days later. That just doesn't happen in Congress. But this time, it was going to happen. And it wasn't because there were no disagreements on the issue. There are always disagreements. Some senators thought the bill was much too weak and needed to be stronger. As it was introduced, the bill only allowed the government to shut down websites. And these senators, they wanted any company in the world to have the power to get a website shut down. Other senators thought it was a drop too strong. But somehow, and the kind of thing you never see in Washington, they'd all managed to put their personal differences aside to come together and support one bill they were persuaded they could all live with. A bill that would censor the internet.
Aaron's death should radicalize us. And I mean that specifically about us, about you if you're here in this room or if you're watching this online. Aaron died because of deep injustice in this world. Aaron loved to talk about the 5 whys of the Toyota management system. And so I'm going to ask why. Why did Aaron die? Aaron died in part because we live in a system where the constitutional rights we've all come to believe in through civics classes and through watching Law and Order don't actually apply in the real world. There's no right to a speedy trial. It had been 2 years since Aaron was arrested. We still didn't have all the evidence that the government still hadn't turned over all of the evidence to us, that they were constitutionally required to do so. Why does that happen? In part, it's because the system is so clogged up with cases and has so few human resources. It takes years for practically anybody who actually wants to go to trial to find out whether they're guilty from a jury of their peers. It takes them years because the system is so clogged up and so under-resourced with drug cases and with, the senseless overcrowding of our criminal justice system. Prosecutors aren't used to going to trial. Last year, only 3% of all federal charges were taken to trial. Most of the rest were resolved in plea bargaining. Plea bargaining processes give prosecutors enormous amounts of power. Imagine being totally innocent of any crime and not having the resources that Aaron had at his disposal and the networks and the support. Many people feel they have no choice but to accept a plea bargain. They can't afford lawyers for 2 years.
Should have expected us. This is Bible chapters and final rapture. The psychopath with iron daggers, spinal tap on chiropractors. Destroy Goliath, the voice of giants. Follow rhyming patterns, poison flying, swallow firecrackers. Dying rappers inspire laughter. I imagine and earning my pilot license after my flight to Saturn. But my mind is scattered, spawning life on planets. The science gathered, defy time and matter. God's debris sending human being signals, awakening a lucid dreaming. Truthfully, the truth is what these shrooms I ain't give you, so you can see these fractal computers screen pixels. Build drones, bitcoins in my billfold. Trench coat criminal tiptoeing down Silk Road. Presidents murk, Kennedy curse. Centuries turn, time went in reverse, penning this verse.
Big black line and shredded documents. Houston proxy service and know they watching us. You know the binary code, you better honor it. Anonymous.
Yeah, it's subliminal, it's in your head. They manipulate you, but what if it isn't indirect? Power's a sickle, ice is slippery when wet. The melted water trickles to a ripple effect. You a pig, I'll pistol whip you and beat you to death. When empty, the clip will eject like the seat in a jet. I grow wings with the dreams in my head. Puppet strings around my neck, controlled by the kings in a deck. I just got a shipment of missiles in from Cuba. It's in the water underneath the mist that's in Bermuda. If I go to prison, I'm a killer with a makeshift fort. Murder the judge the next day in court. My soul leave my pale corpse on a pale horse. Only victims are afraid of war. I take out a naval corps. I fight off the crazy 88 with swords. I ain't playing fucking games no more.
Big black line and shredded documents. Houston proxy service and know they watching us. You know the binary code, you better honor it. Anonymous.
Hello, citizens of the world. We are anonymous.
I am untraceable. No color, no odor, no taste.
Hello, citizens of the world. We are anonymous.
I am untraceable. No color, no odor, no taste.
Anonymous.
They call themselves Anonymous. They are hackers on steroids.
The action's been organized by the hacktivist Anonymous Group.
Greetings, friends of the world. This is a song for Illuminati.
If you fight back, watch out.
Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul. We all shall be free.
We will be free. We are Anonymous.
Illuminati, you'll never take control. Your new world order will lead to none at all. We all shall be free.
When they established our country, they designed a great seal of the country, and it said, Novus Order Seclorum, a new order. It's on the dollar bill. In case you have a dollar in your pocket, you can take out the Great Seal of the United States. Nobis Ordo Seclorum.
It's a plan for the business elites, the political elites, that will cost more American jobs, cost American sovereignty, but it would fulfill the president's father's vision. People better understand that they mean exactly what they're saying. It's a new world order they're trying to create.
Through the vast global economic crisis of the last few years, they have been able to devalue the dollar.
Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul. We all shall be free.
Citizen of the free world. Illuminati, you'll never take control.
Your new world order will lead to none at all. We all shall be free.
Secretive organization known as Anonymous, a loose-knit group of computer hackers who came to the defense of WikiLeaks and got the attention of law enforcement in the process. They are young and stealthy, and they are potential giant killers.
Anonymous hacker activists have basically got together and are exacting revenge for what they see as attacks on WikiLeaks, and they're targeting a number of corporations that have cut off their ties with WikiLeaks.
So they see themselves as protesters. Essentially that the government can't prevent you or I from talking openly. They interpret it much more broadly. They believe that everybody has an inalienable right to say whatever they want on any forum whatsoever.
Out today, this group of computer hackers are apparently threatening cyber war over this WikiLeaks case. What do you know about that?
Yeah, NBC is reporting that Anonymous, it's a group we've heard of before, is threatening new attacks not only on U.S. corporations, but also on some of the government officials.
Number one story, MasterCard announced Monday it would no longer process payments to WikiLeaks. This morning, internet activists crashed its website. This afternoon, Visa.com crashed. Tonight, Twitter might be next. It suspended an Operation Payback account. A group calling itself Anonymous has been waging Operation Payback for a few months now. The group says it is dedicated to a, quote, anonymous, decentralized movement that fights against censorship and copy wrong.
Well, officials have confirmed that at least 41 Malaysian government websites had been hacked overnight. This follows a threat by hacker group Anonymous to punish the authorities for internet censorship. Officials say that 51 websites were hit and at least 41 of them were disrupted in these attacks.
Targets like HB Gary, a major cybersecurity firm some U.S. government agencies rely on to keep their computers safe. Last month, HB Gary boasted it would expose Anonymous. The response was swift. Anonymous took down their website, stole thousands of emails, and posted them on the internet. The CEO resigned. Anonymous is credited with bringing down government websites in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. And now it's made new threats against companies and government officials complicit in what it views as the mistreatment of Bradley Manning, the Army private accused of leaking to WikiLeaks.
Anonymous is powerful enough that it's certainly struck fear into the hearts of some of the biggest technology companies, the biggest companies in the whole world.
Our own Justice Department doesn't take any action against these guys. It's been 3 years since the debacle in Wall Street that caused our economic collapse. And where's Washington? Where's Washington? They haven't done a damn thing. But look, what you're looking at here, in combination of all these things, is a new model on how to fight back. You have to take action into your hands. Direct, peaceful resistance.
We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. You could be in a lot of trouble. Now, people have figured out that you can hit the powerful where it counts in their pocketbooks. The same thing happened in Egypt, where Mubarak only stepped down after the labor strikes began. And then there's the national and international movement against the power establishment. The group Anonymous recently released this video warning the global banking systems.
We are a decentralized, non-violent resistance movement which seeks to restore the rule of law and fight back against the organized criminal class.
Now that's a little spooky, but I liked it. And apparently they came armed with documents, which we're going to tell you about in a second. But look, what I like is peaceful resistance.
However, they can't just randomly launch an attack. And in order to do it, you have to go on this IRC chat. Anyone can suggest a target. That person then has to make a compelling case for the target, and then whoever happens to be, it's a quorum of whoever happens to be awake, can vote up or down on this target. So if somebody has not made a compelling enough case, enough people may pull their computers off of this voluntary botnet that the attack might not be nearly as effective. So it is, in fact, an amazing kind of Athenian democracy. If you forget sort of the ethics of what they're doing, place that to one side, what they've achieved is sort of this set of checks and balances that agrees in a very fluid way on what the target is.
This is the new model of fighting back against the establishment and against corporate power. Don't wait for your knight in shining armor to show up from D.C. The bad news is he ain't coming. The good news is it turns out you're the knight in shining armor.
I believe
that Gandhi's views were the most enlightened of all the political men in our time. We should strive to do things in his spirit, not to use violence in fighting for our cause, but by non-participation in anything you believe is evil.
What's next? What's next is all they can do is shut down the internet itself. And we see how that went for them in Egypt. And we, the people, know that when the government shuts down the internet, that's when it's time to shut down the government. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. And now, you can expect a whole lot more.
Hello, free people of the world. This is Anonymous. It's time to stand up and face the New World Order. Your country calls for you to follow orders and to stand in place like a slave drone. We call for you to say no. We call for you to say you are anonymous. You have the right to stay anonymous, and so shall you do so. Go to protest and stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what is right. Stand up and say you are anonymous. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a rare look inside Anonymous.
They're this shadowy and motley group of hackers and activists who answer to no one, drawn together by love of internet mischief.
Well, now they're evolving into this movement of social change, a real driving force behind the Wall Street occupiers. No surprise, they're hated by corporate security, but also hunted by the FBI.
And one of the questions we're asking is, who are these people and why are they taking to the streets? To get some answers, Amber Lyons stepped into the shadows.
Back up.
It's a...
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse.
And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 62. This is your host, Tyler. Would our guests like to introduce themselves today?
Yeah, I'm Anand Desire from the Uyghur Coalition.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm Kevin. I'm from Belgium.
I'm Calamity. 2017 account Twitter.
Hi, my name is Ray Johansson. I'm from Pirate Parties International, and I'm an activist. That's about it. Happy to meet you all.
Nathan here, just your everyday activist.
All right, and my co-host will be coming on in about 30 minutes, so she's running some stuff right now, and I do apologize to our audience for the show not being on for a little while. Had moved, and it took me a while to get the internet back up, but anyway. So tonight's first topic we will talk about would be net neutrality. Anybody want to kick it off? All right.
All right, so basically yesterday there was a day of action planned where you could go to sites like GoFCC yourself and battleforthenet.com and sign up and voice your outrage about them trying to roll back net neutrality. What net neutrality is it just basically guarantees that the internet stays open and free. And what they want to do is they want to charge these big ISP, internet service providers, want to charge you like hundreds of dollars for bundles to access. Like, you're going to get like a social media package, you're going to get like internet packages that is just going to screw the internet for all eternity.
Yeah, and I was also kind of like another thing that they were gonna do is pick well, this was the main thing, was pick slow and fast lanes for the internet, and then not only could they do that, but they could hypothetically censor what you can and can't see, you know.
Right, it would become like cable television, how cable television network providers put in front of you what they want you to see. That's exactly how the internet would become. It would become like cable TV. No one watches cable TV anymore. You pick 3 shows that you watch, and you watch it on Netflix. Cable TV is dying, so this is their next reach. This is how they're trying to put their capitalism up more.
Yeah, and essentially, I remember I might have been too young, but I remember there was something similar like this, like in the pioneers days of the internet. They were trying to do stuff like this, the internet service providers. If I'm wrong.
No, the thing that they claim all the time is something called capital expenditure. It's the same thing that Bell claimed way back in the day. They claim that, okay, we spent the money to lay down these lines and to give everyone DSL. So now we're owed because we spent the money, we're owed, everyone's internet access. If this passes, or gets rolled back, I should say, AT&T will be able to dictate the internet.
Pretty much.
Solely AT&T.
Now this net neutrality is it only applying, like, this is one thing I've always been confused about. Is it only applying to wired internet service providers, not wireless, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
That's a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
Right. You can't stream 4K with Wi-Fi. So that's where the broadband comes into play, wired internet.
Yeah. Now, if internet service providers if this hypothetically goes even further, I do see I do see a lot of syndicate underground networks getting much bigger. Lost causes, lost closed networks such as I2P, and I even see the darknet even getting bigger if stuff like this gets. If the internet service provider can pick and see what you choose, I do see a lot of popular companies moving to other closed networks or smaller webs,
Yeah, what's going to happen is the fast and slow lanes that you talked about.
Yeah.
That's going to be for all the big corporations. That's not going to be for us. It's definitely not going to be for the ghetto. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna make it like a first class internet basically, and everyone else is going to be just normal passengers.
Yeah, I still remember back in the day with the old what was it? Even when dial-up, they're only giving you so many hours, and then you had to pay so much after that.
If we're going to talk about internet neutrality, I think we have to start with the basics. The internet is a protocol, and it's for everybody. It's something that everybody should have access to, equal access to, whether or not you're a big, large corporation or a single person. It should be accessible to all, just like the air. The oxygen in the air should be accessible to all. What the larger corporations are trying to do, let's call them ISPs or cable companies. I think you have in the US 4 of them, dividing the market among them. What they're trying to do is own the internet so they can capitalize off of it, earn money from it. And what they're trying to do is make larger companies like Google or streamers like YouTube pay extra to have better quality, and then make the rest of us have a slow lane if we're not able to pay. And the worst thing that happens is that it kills creativity and competition. Because if you're a new company or a person that wants to start a new company and you don't have $5 million to pay the Comcast or whoever, you can't start a new company and build a new idea. So it kills creativity. And it creates A and B and C class citizens on the internet, and basically lets the larger company decide what you see and what you do not see. So net neutrality is the basis of everything that has to do with free speech and our ability to talk to each other, whether or not we sit in close to Santa Claus like me in Norway or in Vietnam. It's an issue that's really important and incredibly big. Also, it's very, very complicated because it's about technology and the rules and regulations that have been made by the FCC in the US are so complicated. I don't think even the Supreme Court understands how it works. But the basic thing, the internet should be for every citizen in the fucking universe. And we shouldn't let the big corporations decide what happens to it and define us as A, B, C, or D class citizens. We should all have equal access. Rant over.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, when the old net neutrality laws had passed, right? They were supposed to charge it. They were supposed to treat it as a utility, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Who is the major guy in the FCC? What's his name? Ed something. That's trying to that push for all of this.
I don't know his
You
name,
broke
but
up a little bit. What did you say?
The main guy in the FCC that was pushing for all of this stuff.
Ajit Pai. Ajit Pai.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Who
wonder-
used to be the lawyer for Verizon.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, he had to have been in bed or with some of the major proponents against this or for this.
Yeah, and he was like part of the fight for when Verizon was trying to mess with net neutrality when they were against net neutrality back in the day. He was one of the main lawyers.
I think this is the funny guy with a really large coffee cup that I saw on one of the TV shows. A really ridiculous guy that uses his Twitter to say stupid shit all the time. I don't know if it's to hide the fact that he actually comes from
same one.
One of the guys that really wants to kill net neutrality or whatever.
Now the vote, the final decision, it's coming up in August. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Like that's the thing about it. Like, if we don't voice out about it, they'll just pass it. I mean, it's not like it's going to Congress for a vote.
Well, yeah, and the average Joe Schmo who doesn't pay attention or isn't into activism, if this goes through, one day, let's say he's into I don't know, some weird hobby or activity, and then all of a sudden his internet service provider, doesn't then they'll realize, but if we don't stand up, like you said, if we don't stand up now and do something, make our voices heard, this is going to go through. This is big. This is a big one, just like SOPA and PIPA,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I did see, Aaron's, was Demand Progress. They're still having, the email thing where you the pre-made email and everything, and it mails it to the Congress or the FCC. There's also Battle for the Net, right? Where that page is up. But what the people were encouraged to do yesterday was to write comments to the FCC.
Hello?
Yeah. No, I was just waiting for anybody to say something.
Alright, so the comments to the FCC from just the Battle for the Net website was 1.6 million comments. 3.45 million emails to the FCC. And these are just that was as of 7 p.m. last night. So they haven't even calculated from all the websites that did something and like bundled it up. They haven't released those numbers yet.
Yeah, there was one company in particular that I was really kind of weird about. Why they jumped on the last minute was Facebook did not jump on the bandwagon until the last second, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I always think that they got a hand in something that's not in the best interest of everyday people.
Oh, absolutely. Facebook, it does not care about net neutrality. It doesn't, just like Netflix, to be honest with you, they stopped caring about net neutrality as well. Although they were for it, they protested for it, but if you really look at it, they haven't cared about net neutrality because they're too big. Once you become too big, net neutrality doesn't affect you. You have the money, you can pay for it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I had some intel the other day that a lot of the VPN location or the loop arounds that we were using, to access YouTube via VPNs and the way that they've been blocked was all originally thought of by Netflix just to begin with, Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They like
somebody
that money.
help. Somebody help me here, because if Trump, who put that new boss in charge of the FCC, gets to roll back the net neutrality laws, doesn't that mean that Comcast and Verizon and everybody can start charging both Netflix and YouTube a heck of a lot more money to give them fast lanes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. So
that's exactly what will happen.
Yeah. So,
but they have the money to pay them.
Yeah, they have the money to pay them, but I really don't think they would like to pay more money, millions of dollars.
No. Yeah, I agree.
And of course, the rest of us will be, served pipes that has lesser speeds, and small companies trying to, compete with Netflix or YouTube or whatever. The bill for them to step in and try to be too high, which means that the large companies will, keep their larger market positions. So everything is wrong about this. And I worry that even if 50 million people sent their comments into the FCC, that won't matter at all, because the Trump administration already decided that they should roll back the net neutrality as it stands today. Am I right, or do you think there's hope?
As long as we have a voice, there's still a hope. Make as much noise and fuss as we can. There's been lists that have been passed around to emailing lists, Twitter lists. I have everything before the show, and I don't have it, unfortunately, when I'm on the show. I still think we have a chance. Everybody thought that, same thing with SOPA and PIPA, and then, lo and behold, it didn't go through. So, but they say that those laws will come back, that they already have their hands into trying to reverse some of that stuff already. So,
yeah, and you have big Democrats like Bernie Sanders they've came out for net neutrality and had told the Republicans, or the Republican FCC there with A.G. Pye, that it would be bad for the next elections if he rolled back net neutrality. That's what they're trying to bid towards him, and hopefully it works.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If this doesn't change, I do see a lot of restructuring of the way that we see the internet, here stateside. I really do.
It's gonna be fucking hideous.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, there's nothing.
People try to take my internet.
Yeah, there's nothing good about this.
A preview of it would be like 2014. 2014, before net neutrality was passed. What you seen on the internet? I mean, it became like cable TV.
But then again, cable TV is not that great anyway.
No, it's not.
For all of you.
Hey guys.
Hey, go ahead. Ed, go.
I was gonna say, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Ed.
Yeah.
Right on. First of all, let some old people try to take my internet. Second of all, I don't see how they can without limiting themselves. So I I don't see it happening. It's so much easier to catch people doing crimes by keeping it free. It just doesn't even make sense. So what are you gonna have? A whole bunch of ISPs being snitches? I mean, like.
Well, that was
Nobody
actually
would sign up for that service.
Well, you know what? Actually, it was either SOPA or PIPA. There was something in there in one of the clauses,
right? It was
where they wanted you to have like a national identity to log into the internet, which is like, which I thought was kind of fucking crazy because IP version 4 was never really designed. Even IP version 6 was never really designed for stuff like this. So not only would you have to re-engineer some of the underlying parts of the internet, you would have to redo all the protocols, you know. But anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought.
And people don't understand science and protocols. Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be entirely hard to like, you log onto the internet and then you got some ID number and then you type it in. I mean, that wouldn't be a complete restructuring of the underlying protocols. But the way I was reading some of the literature back then, that's what I was seeing in my head, you know. But it never got implemented, so we'll never know exactly what they actually had planned, you know.
Well, you know.
Good.
Sorry, Tyler. Do you mind if
the only way it would work is if...
Ed, did we lose?
Oops.
Ed.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. I didn't hear anything you just said.
I'm sorry. I'm up in the mountains here. So the only way it would really work out is if we had a tiered system for the powers that be anyway. If we had a tiered system and everybody got Facebook, because the masses are controlled right now. Like, it's so easy to control people with the internet. Why would you want to limit your control of the people? It doesn't make sense.
Because nothing matters to them but profit. None of that matters to them. The amount of market that is available, if they do this, it's through the roof. They will become monopolies, each and every one of them.
But do you think they're really that stupid? Like, they would just go for the money and not understand that they have the power?
I think
so.
Personally, I think IG Pi has been trying to do this. I think Verizon and the big telecommunication companies have been trying to do this since 2012.
Well, the only thing I can imagine is a whole bunch of people like us just making towns to where we can have our own LAN parties. And
hey, man. Hey, do you want to get on my network? Yeah, man. Just hook up the Ethernet cable. Dial up.
Yeah.
Dial up.
And it's just as easy to wire up a small town to have people pay you like $50 a month to have at least town internet connection than it is to sit there and be like, yeah, I'll go on my tier 2 Facebook today.
Facebook Premium.
Yeah, premiums. You get Twitter and Facebook. Yeah. But you only get 100 characters instead of 160.
Well, you know what's really weird. What's always been really weird to me is that a lot of the underlying parts of the internet were always designed to be, free and open source. Even along with the World Wide Web and hypertext, HTTP. Stuff like this is inherently, kind of weird to me, as far as the internet is concerned. And the whole point, of having even the World Wide Web is so that we didn't have a bunch of little webs. But if you do stuff like this, then you will see people migrate into these smaller webs.
Exactly. I'm already planning on how to do it. Yes.
I2P isn't a really big, small network. There's GNU network. A lot of people don't even know about it. There's Freenet, which hasn't been active for like a year, but it might come back. You know, if stuff like this comes up. You know, people do have smaller webs out there that aren't really available to you unless you get, you know, specialized software and certain browsers, you know. But yeah, it'll be the dark ages of the internet if this goes through, for sure. You might see more craziness too.
Absolutely.
You'll see hackers paying for tier 1 service for 1/3 off, right?
Man.
But okay, so that begs the point. If they do put a system in like this in a play, hackers will be the kings.
Crackers
will be the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
So like, why you're just making another black market for no reason?
You know, I don't make
any money. I guess I don't know.
I would say the same thing about you know when they introduced, you know, the war on drugs and back in the 70s with Nixon. You know, you only created more of a black market, and lo and behold, some of the drugs you made illegal are now legal. You got rid of the crime. Now it's legal. You know, I don't know. Half the laws, half the stuff they do in you know, politics doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, and the illegal stuff would just be more money for them anyways. If we go to jail, the BOP or the DOC, it's still money for the government.
Well, yeah, you know, they legalized marijuana, right? And then they realized that they're making a shitload of fucking sales tax on it.
Right?
Actually, Colorado's doing so well because they've legalized marijuana 100% there, that their economy is doing better. So is the government. The government's better funded.
Yeah, their unemployment rate is down. I mean, figure that one out.
Yeah, but you know what? I couldn't get an apartment for like 3 months there because the prices are so high. So I tried 3 months. I had donors. They were going to give me an apartment. Couldn't even get an apartment. $850 a month. Couldn't even get one. Yeah. So there is a dark area to that, and it's just that they're making so much money. Yeah, but then you have Washington that puts so much taxes on their herbals. It's almost like they're trying to gobble up all the permits to make a monopoly.
Well, off subject, but there are some major. I was talking about this with that on that legalized drugs show that we did. The Monsanto's corporations has been buying up those contracts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So welcome to your genetically modified marijuana. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we go back to black market again.
Did we really?
Like these guys don't get it.
Actually, speaking of weird facts about recreational marijuana, Nevada just passed, or they passed a law about 2 years ago to legalize marijuana, and they just opened up all their clinics, right, or their wherever they were going to sell them. They're all out of weed in their first week.
Well, I lived in Las Vegas, and it was like 4 years for like a seed. Like I went cold for a while. I was like, no, this is not even worth it at all. I might as well drink all this alcohol that'll kill me quicker.
Right.
And just a heads up, some of the best programmers I know and hackers are huge stoners, so it doesn't always go with the stereotype,
No, and that's it. It's actually a really good thing for you, but I get so frustrated. I guess I just don't have a mind that just wants a lot of money and wants to kill a lot of people, because I can't understand all these laws. I'm under the impression that there shouldn't be that many laws, and that everybody should be able to live the way they want. As long as you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you.
Well, maybe, just maybe, because of this net neutrality laws, there'll be a civil unrest because we can't watch our porn fast enough,
Right. I mean, I only need a minute or two of porn, but you're taking that minute or two away, and it's going to make me a very unhappy person.
You're like, I only saw a boob for a second.
There's going to be a black market on pictures, people drawing things.
Oh, like, remember the 90s when we had to wait? We had to wait just to see a boob, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it would pixelize, and then it finally come into view. You're like, oh my god! But wait 10 minutes.
Supposed to look like that.
Now, speaking of the guys, right? The companies that are for this, right? Now, I do remember. Now, I might be 100% wrong because I was a kid because I was always one of those kids that always had the new gadgets and everything, right? And I do remember before AT&T bought out Singular, you used to be able to get those MiFi cards, right? And after the AT&T Singular merger, right? That was now this is something that's not in net neutrality laws because I think cellular providers is something completely different. But they didn't used to charge for data, right? I don't think anybody ever thought about it. I don't think anybody ever thought about charging for the data. But I remember as soon as the merger happened, they were charging you up the wazoo for data.
Yeah, there was a long time where, and I was in the Radio Shack business at the time, there was a long time that we weren't focused on data at all. It was all about text messages and minutes.
Yeah.
And then it started to go into like megabytes. Like, oh my God, you can get 100 megabytes for like $29.99. And then it went up the ladder, and there was a point, you're right. I worked for Radio Shack in California, in Solana Beach. And that New Year's, we switched from AT&T or from Singular to AT&T. And before that, you could get an app that would allow you to have unlimited, like, internet or something. But then they started charging crazy amounts.
Yeah, I remember. It was like we had those MiFi cards. Remember those huge PCI, those huge fucking cards that kind of look like the size of a cell phone.
PCI, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could get those for like $69.99, and then you get the internet, and yeah, you could use the internet for free. And then they started to figure out, hey, we can make money off of this stuff.
Well, I think that's when the top speed was still 3G, so you're only hitting about maybe 300 kilobytes per second. So, but still,
and the iPhone finally got like App Store, and a whole bunch of stuff happened around that time that just kind of like boosted everything through the roof. 2007, 2008, a lot of the internet just either went unlimited or they went to strolling it back around 2010, 2012, where they went backwards and said, okay, it's per gigabyte.
Yeah, like one of our guests was talking about, applying this to the net neutrality laws. You would get the social media package or whatever the hell they got up their twisted little sleeves,
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, or you'd get a premium Facebook.
Right. And so what's to say a guy like me gets like 500 web addresses and starts like naming them like Facebook and Twitter stuff to people get that connection? How do they throttle it? Do they just put, okay, you can only have this IP and this IP? Those are the only two addresses you can use, or?
I'm not sure.
Well, I guess the statistics are that.
What's that?
89% of Americans there's DSL and cable. 89% of Americans get their internet from two companies right now. So if net neutrality came in, if net neutrality was rolled back, just imagine how big something that was already a monopoly would become.
I know. My question is, so a browser like Google becomes non-existent because you can't use it anyway. Because what are you going to search?
Well,
Google's not going to allow that.
Actually, Google has their own internet service providers in select
Right.
places. Yes.
So then Google Fiber takes off because they're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not getting into net neutrality. I'll go do my own internet. And then the Borg and Terminator wins. God damn it.
Well, what you might see is you might see I don't know, you might see a lot of reverse engineering coming out of this, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm already thinking. Okay, so we can take a Pi device, a Raspberry Pi device, and we can create a backbone internet somehow that can only access a certain satellite, and we get a whole bunch of money together, we put up a satellite, there's got to be a way. And then we plug these little things into TVs, and they have Bluetooth to a mic, a mouse, and a keyboard.
I think it'll work.
That's high level, of course, but yeah, I mean.
Or you might see me dial up back to some internet service provider in some third world country, and then access the web pages I want to.
Well,
if there are
we get Second Life going again, and we all meet in Second Life, and that's where we surf the real internet. We all have like our own little videos and pictures, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I did. Pi. That's what he claims. He claims he's doing this to open up innovation. So
yeah, but normal people like you and me. I don't know. I just don't buy shit like that. You know. Because basically these laws were set into place, for hands off for this kind of stuff, and hands off, what they're trying to do, it does create innovation, I just don't. I mean, if you let a monopoly control, what is going on the internet, and choose what we can and can't see, can filter out whatever they want, pick and fast. I don't see any innovation coming out of that besides the internet companies making you charge more.
There was a whole country, and I don't remember which country it is. I think it might be Cuba, but there's a whole country that had an underground file swapping network. They would take all the stuff from mainland United States, all the news, everything that was interesting for the week, and they would put it on one USB drive, and they would hand that USB drive off so much it would get all around the country, and everybody would download everything for the week.
No kidding.
This was in Wired magazine. I was like, holy shit. This is like 2006 when I read this. So I mean, it will spark innovation in some sort. I'm not sure it's going to be anything forward, maybe backwards. We might all be getting our AOL discs out and finding some subnet somewhere.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll get our V90 or 50 or the 56K modems out. Mom, don't worry about
dial-up, guys. We're going dial-up. I don't know. Or we could just all go out inside and play again. But I don't think that's as fun.
Well, it's really, the internet has really integrated into just about everything. A lot of stuff that we use in the everyday world. I just only see this being a problem for everybody,
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, so I don't even know, like certain banks, you can't visit their website unless you get a tier 3 package. Like, okay, so how the fuck do I find out what money I have in my account?
No,
you don't, sir. You have to upgrade to tier 3. Okay, and who dictates what the top sites are? Like, is this
AT&T does?
Alexa again?
Comcast, Verizon, AT&T will dictate exactly what you want. And you know what?
Charter.
And you know what? Yeah. You know what? AT&T will promote their own pages higher than ever. They could even prioritize. In the searches. So
at that point, do they get to hijack domain names because they like them better, and they get and you can't view them anyway, so they just get them?
Yeah, or they divert traffic away from a domain name that they don't like.
Like WikiLeaks. You know, WikiLeaks. We might not be able to access WikiLeaks unless we go to Tor, or we use I2P, or the GNU network, or you know what I mean.
Right.
So the printing press comes back. Got it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you know, a lot of those smaller webs, they came out. A lot of them aren't new. They've been around for a while. Well, not Tor. Tor was developed by the Navy, but it's not exactly a smaller web anymore. It's actually pretty big if for the underground of the underground. But I2P was that's been around since the 90s. Freenet has been around for forever. But they're so using those smaller webs is so inconvenient, you know. I2P.
Yeah, it's like remaking Craigslist all over again.
Well, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, when you're using I2P, the main thing for me is that you gotta you gotta wait like 30 minutes for it to find the next hop. It's like basically your own computer is like a router, and it takes forever to find the next connection. So that would be our future if we wanted to see the things we want to see, because I do see places like websites like WikiLeaks and stuff like that moving to places like that.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
I'm thinking of a great stunt. So we take a website that we all like, we print out 1,000 copies of the website, and we send it to Washington. This is your future.
There's a snapshot of the website.
Hold on, it's dated. Oh, there's an update. I'll have to print out another one. I'll be right back.
Man.
Going to Kinko's. We laugh because this stuff makes sense to us, but I don't.
Got
think it
me
makes
with that
sense
one.
To like people that are trying to make these laws.
Well, this is like one of those things that could, like, honestly, I do see this, starting a civil unrest. I do.
Yeah, that's why it has to start with the awareness campaign. That's why we have to let people know what net neutrality is, what they're trying to do, and inform people about this term that this guy AgitPie keeps bringing up: capital expenditure. If you wiki it, it'll tell you briefly what it's about.
Capital expenditure.
They've been using it forever to just claim property, to claim that they spent this money, so now they own the right to that, basically.
Well,
so all these power lines,
go ahead.
Them giving us cable on our house, all that, they're saying that they already spent the money, so now yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Well,
mind you,
actually,
these big.
The true owners of the internet, if you want to get down to it, would be DARPA, Defense Aerospace and Research Project Administration.
Right. Yeah, that would be the administration to take it over.
But yeah, I do remember the internet giants, around the turn of the 2000s, putting up all the the cable and things, but some of the companies in between, they phased out. So that what they're saying is a false claim as well.
I wonder where does Oracle sit on this?
Sun Systems don't know.
Oh my God!
Don't know.
Yeah,
they already been sending their goons out. Don't you worry.
Well, that's my concern, right? Like, okay, so they stifled Aaron's Law.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the guy is a CIA spy, the top guy. I don't remember his name.
Larry Ellison?
No, maybe I'm thinking of another company then. God damn it.
When we first started doing this, and
that's the CEO.
We did a search, we noticed that there wasn't even Aaron's Law, like .org or anything. AaronsLaw.com. So
Oh,
we made
really?
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
there wasn't even one didn't even exist. I mean, we're talking about Aaron's Law. It's for the internet.
Oh, yeah.
One,
Huh.
and we made Aaron's Law. What is it? Aaron's-law.org.
Okay.
And Comcast.
And it has all pertinent facts there, or?
It has basically what's new. It's the what's new about Aaron's Law. Aaron's Law can speak more to it about that, Kels.
Well, yeah, because it was launched in 2013. It was stopped by basically Oracle. So where's it at now?
Same place. It's stuck in committee at this point, and without the outcry of the public, that's where it'll stay.
Well, okay, so then we got to get the Donald. We got to get the Reddit, the Donald on this, because they basically made him a president off of Reddit. So Aaron Swartz, obviously co-founder of Reddit, it's got to be a fit somewhere, right? No?
Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, crazy things have happened, but okay. So what the CIA did in Guatemala in the 1950s is they dropped a whole bunch of leaflets all over the town, basically telling them that they were going to be invaded, and then they eventually started dropping bombs, so that the people were like, "Oh my God, I was invaded because I saw this thing and I rationalized with it because I've seen it enough, because I've seen enough pamphlets drop." So, do we drop pamphlets all over Washington D.C. saying you're going to lose your porn? Is that the?
Well, I mean that's like every male between
Absolutely.
every male between the age of
Airdrops.
8 to 65. Say, hey man, you might lose your fucking porn. That might get people to wake up.
Or you get the only tiered porn. So maybe you only get the bottom half for the first tier. And you might get the second
You only get
half,
basic
top
porn.
half. Yeah, you only get like facial and a little softcore. You're gonna get. We can upgrade you to ankles later. You get the ankles package.
Wow.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Yeah, it's not obvious. The reason why propaganda works is you have to hit the heart, not the facts. So the porn thing could work. We could scare enough people thinking they're not going to get porn, and that could be a thing. Or we'll have a whole bunch of people printing out porn before it gets shut down. Either way, we win.
I think I'm gonna roll a joint to make this even more funny.
Great idea.
Yeah, so I can laugh with the other 43 listeners.
Okay, so we need those flyers. Airdropped. I don't know who's got a plane that can go over Washington, D.C. I don't even know if that's a thing, but let's get on it.
Well, actually, what you can do is you can get those pre-made, pre-bought mailing lists that the telecommunication companies have. A lot of telemarketers have them, and just get a mailing list. Get a team together with the auto mailers and just start mailing out random pamphlets.
Okay,
it could work.
Yeah, there's also ResistBot.
Yeah,
ResistBot.
Oh, ResistBot's great. Have you tried that? You text resist to 50409, and it will contact your representatives, and it'll do it by fax or by phone, or even by mail. Do it all for free. It's a great service.
It takes 2 minutes.
It sounds like a great service when it's a logical place and time where that stuff matters anymore. But really, that stuff doesn't matter anymore. They're not even listening. They're not even picking up the phones. They don't check their emails anymore. The emails are redirected. The protests don't work.
So then what's the answer?
I don't know. Do we have their addresses?
You can buy them.
Yeah, actually, activists went to Ajit Pai's neighborhood and hung up pamphlets saying, "Have you seen this man?" Like all around his neighborhood, and we were knocking on doors, informing people.
That's awesome. I just don't know what to do anymore. Like, there's even, what's his name? Paul Ryan's not even going to his house anymore. The place where somebody told us we should hit him, they're not even going to anymore because they're too scared because they're full of shit and they can't even say they're full of shit anymore. Do we go to their golf courses and their pool halls? I mean,
I don't know. I think we have to try. You know, we've got to try. And if we make enough noise, maybe we can get the right people listening. Maybe they won't, and then we have to proceed to another step, I'm sure. But now, if we can get people mad.
I think I got it. So we get these golf balls that say you will lose your porn, no to net neutrality, and we hit them into the golf courses where these guys play. And so they have to look at them. All right, we're going. Here we go. I like that. This is democracy. I like this. I don't know what it is. It's basically it used to look like it mattered, and now it really just doesn't. So I don't know. We write tons of articles. I mean, media is the only way to do it. We write tons of articles.
Well, to the viewers, keep on putting those posts on Facebook. Talk to your friends about it. Talk to anybody about this. Yout, shell, scream. If you're technically inclined, you got an email list. You have up to 500 emails you can do a day. Use the spam programs. Email random people. But you say people don't check their emails. Some do.
I am putting together a meme right now.
Use the spam bot.
Meme warfare, yes.
Oh, actually, this is going to be brilliant. Okay.
Somebody says Anonymous needs to start buying billboard time. Sean, there have been anons out there that have been doing, anti-propaganda tagging out there. So you might see a reoccurrence of that as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I was talking to one of the viewers.
No, I got you. I'm making a meme. You're good.
But yeah. Let me see. A fox mask over the highway. I like
it. How about ladies walking around, and men, for the ladies, obviously, too, walking around naked in Guy Fawkes masks saying, "Do you want to lose this? No to net neutrality."
You know who this also might. You know who also this might hit really hard is not just the banking but the cryptocurrency market.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is Japan will be almost fully reliant on it by next year. They're going to back up their own currency with this. The guys who need the broad bandwidth, you really don't need that much bandwidth to do mine cryptocurrency, but the ASICs computers that they're using. This would cripple it,
Oh my God, the Bitcoin mining will die.
Yeah.
And I mean that goes along with all the other 600 altcoins as well. Will die. And you got to think about all these big, not big, but like little cryptocurrency, Coinami and Shapeshift that are just coming up. They'll be crushed. I mean, you'll see Polinix and the Yobit and the other big ones, but all the other little guys will be shut out.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how the banking industry would deal with this. Just normal everyday local currency and their online if they get filtered out.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that with the ones that are tied into the the central market. I don't give a fuck about that, but But still, the the local credit unions that are not fully,
Right.
that would impact them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing that happened after the Great Depression when, the big banks came in and they became, the big banks in America, and all the little mom and pop banks got shut out. You'd see the same exact thing happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a blog post about this too, mom and pop shops, and how, on Main Street America, they're a thing of the past, and a lot of them taking their last stand here on the internet, and this could ruin them.
Well, yeah, that's it's for extra income, and I have done it as well. The internet has always been a source for extra income. For me, it was like an extra $1,000 a month until things went south. But this would impact people just barely getting by as well.
Definitely, it
Exactly.
affects everybody, even the ones who don't want to admit it, like Netflix.
But AT&T's all for it.
But you should tell Anthony Weiner, you will not be able to watch your porn anymore.
Don't get Uma involved. Don't get Uma involved. That's a meme in of itself.
Anthony Weiner.
Yeah.
Didn't they catch him? Didn't they catch him in like in some country with an underage prostitute?
I believe it was with the whole when the FBI was looking into Hillary and they took Uma's computer, they found that he was talking to teenage girls still on the computer.
Yeah, they were trying to tie that into Pizzagate and all that, right?
Oh, definitely.
Which actually is technically a little bit true, but the smart people behind it threw a whole bunch of crap at the wall, and only a whole bunch of people got arrested, but not too much. Hey, do we have a website where we can send people for net neutrality? Is it netneutrality.org or something?
Or battleforthenet.
Battle for the Net.
Battleforthenet.com, and go FCC yourself.
Go FCC yourself. I love it.
Now, as far as the protests went yesterday, were there any? Was there really any street protests? I did see them in pockets, but not as much as I thought would be out there. Did you guys see more?
No, there wasn't a huge protest. I think closer to the actual date, we're still 56 or 55 days out. So I think closer to the actual day, or maybe a week or two before the vote. If you do it now, they're going to forget about it before the vote comes.
Yeah.
17th to make comments to the FCC as well about it. So we still have a few days, but there was a pretty good turnout. What was it, 1.2 million through the site, and then another 3.5 million through email to the FCC yesterday?
I hope that got the point.
3.4 million emails, 125,000 websites, artists, contributed to the protest.
It was pretty loud.
And they say that over 10 million people saw it, net neutrality. It trended on both Facebook and Twitter.
I didn't see any Facebook sponsored ads on it. I didn't. They said that
I didn't see anything on Google as well.
Yeah, they
fuck
said
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah, he can go fuck himself. You hear that, Zuckerberg? Ban my account again for the third time.
I'm permabanned from Facebook.
I'm getting there. I think my old device was you couldn't even log into Facebook no matter what you did.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I hear they're having you like take pictures now when you sign up. They're like, here, take a picture next to your ID so we can verify who you are. Like, what?
Find the NSA.
That is not happening. Join our facial recognition program. It's free to sign up to.
Well, actually, anytime you post a picture, it is getting scanned into that database that they do have.
Yeah, that's why I don't got a Facebook. Well, no, actually.
Yeah, Facebook has been using facial recognition software, I believe, since 2015. 2015.
Does Instagram use it too?
Instagram was bought out by Facebook in 2014, so I believe that they are. Yeah.
Great.
All right, I added the meme. Check it out. If it's good, I'm gonna launch it.
Yeah, no net, no boobs. Do you like boobs? Yes. With net neutrality, you can lose your boobs.
Yeah.
I like this.
Does that work?
Do it.
I can't see it, but it sounds epic.
All right, I'm launching it in the Facebook chat. I'm a marketer. I can't help it.
Well, yeah, it does speak to the people. I mean, that's besides social media and pornography and video games, things that matter most to the average daily Joe Schmo. They're not going to listen. It's like, you can't play World of Warcraft anymore because now we have to pay like $300 a month just to get the right net speed.
And it seems like that's what it's going to have to get get some people mad. I mean, people just don't seem to realize how much it's going to affect everybody.
Yeah, it needs to stop being like a geek problem and start being like a everybody problem.
Oh yeah, everybody and their mother, that's got a smartphone is glued to to the phone. They're gonna see it eventually.
Oh, definitely.
Hopefully,
yesterday, I don't think you could go anywhere without seeing something about net neutrality. And I expect that, Demand Progress and a bunch of those big, internet companies that can just push a button and make the internet explode are behind this. And I don't think that this is going to be the only one.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I do think Mozilla has something up their sleeve as well. They were the first ones out there, crying bloody murder. When this even was when all this stuff was even being talked about, if it wasn't for Mozilla, I would have never even caught on to it,
Right, definitely, and even you said Mozilla, right? Even their owner there is really vocal about it. He's huge for net neutrality
and open source.
Open source, right?
Yeah, I have no idea how Mozilla makes its money, but. They're a big thing. Now, should we switch topics? Do you guys want to switch topics to Aaron's Law?
Sure.
Okay. Well, you guys started off. What exactly is Aaron's Law, and how did it come to how did it even come about?
Maybe this is great. Maybe we start with CFAA first.
Sorry, what did you say, Robert?
Maybe we can start about talking about CFAA, which is the reason why Aaron's Law is necessary. The CFAA is a law that lets the Americans arrest anybody that fiddles with any computer anywhere. And it's such a broad law that they can even try to get people in the UK extradited to the US and maybe give them 100 years in jail, while a rapist gets 2 years. And that's why the Aaron's Law is needed. So that's the background. And maybe now we can ask the experts on it, what is Aaron's Law 2017?
Aaron's Law, it's to clarify what does it mean to access an unauthorized computer. Well, what exactly does that mean? Because they make the CFA law so vague that it can apply to anybody. It can apply to you if you sign on to your girlfriend's password.
Yeah, that's really big, and they had no idea. Back in the 80s, whenever they had their Senate hearings, they spoke up to bring nerds so they could explain the internets to them. No clue. What they did was they made this plain law and around. It changed so many times, but now that if you break terms of service online on a dating app, right? You're a felon. Whether they can entrap people, to be honest, and it can be brought against them on both the federal and state level. So it stacks up, and they're faced in prison for little things. It's way out of hand, and it keeps getting worse, and it's for years. But
I'm sorry, I only got a part of that. I think you're breaking up.
Oh no!
Yeah, you're breaking up like a little bit. Did you go over that again? Uh-oh.
No, I'm here. Maybe Jason should explain it a little better. It's a little bit mine. Or I can try it again. Okay. The CFAA was established back in the early 80s due to the movie War Games. They freaked out and they overreacted, and they didn't really know what they were writing about. And it's written so vaguely that everybody's doing. Is that any better? Can you hear me?
Yeah. And
all right, so the CFA law was signed in by the Reagan administration in 1984, and like she said, it was after the movie War Games. They all freaked out. They're gonna hack us and go into our nuclear weapons and bomb our country. So they signed it into law. Then we've seen it used. We've seen it used with Lori Love globally now, outside of the United States, where the law was written. Now they're doing that in conjunction with the treaty law that they have with London. Like that means that basically anybody who uses or commits the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, even if you're in Norway, even if you're here in Spain, you can still be charged and extradited to the United States.
Not good.
No, as long as they have an extradition treaty, then you can be charged with CFAA. It doesn't apply to only Americans. And like she was trying to say, like she was breaking up, but like Facebook, if you use Facebook outside of California, you're technically in violation of the CFAA because you're using internet connection between state lines outside of California. You're a felon. If you say that you're 5'9" when you're really 5'10" on Cupid, you're a felon.
The main point is I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and what that means is, whenever an activist or a reporter or someone that gets in the government sites and they want to come after, there's always a way to come after them. There's always a way to silence them with this law in effect.
The point is,
yeah, if you're not careful. Oh, sorry.
The point is that the law called CFAA is so broad and was basically written by idiots that it can be used to charge anybody that you want to charge. And it wasn't used all too much. But after 9/11, that horrible thing that's been used to start wars and start mass surveillance of all of the world. After that, they even made addendums to the CFAA, and they've been coming after hacktivists and anons really, really, really hard. And as you all know, Aaron Swartz was persecuted in the worst possible way, and he took the worst way out. And Lori Love, which is a campaign that I've been working on for a couple of years, is a really, really bad example. He's being charged in 3 different jurisdictions in the U.S. for, allegedly walking in open doors in sensitive IT systems in the U.S. And they've made a deal with the British government to extradite him to the U.S., where he faces upwards to 99 years in prison. It is completely and utterly silly. And the UK courts have said okay to send Lori Love to the US. He has said, I will never go to the US. I will kill myself before I do that. Now the situation is that November 28 and 29, 1.5 days, the High Court of the UK will hear his case. And hopefully they will say that something wrong happened, send it back to the lower courts in the UK. The Aaron's Law, as I understand it, is a law that's in committee and is laying dormant, and it should be brought to the floor of the Senate because it fixes some of the really horrible things with the CFAA law. So that's what our good friends, some of the guests here, are trying to do. And we should all support them trying to make that happen. Get the law onto the floor and voted on so they cannot kidnap citizens from the UK or anywhere else. And also stop persecuting or prosecuting people in the US for simply protesting. Thank you. Rant over again.
Yeah, and Aaron's Law sits on the House Committee on Crime. If you guys want to yell at somebody about Aaron's Law being there for so long, being procrastinated, his name is Rob Goodlett. He's in charge of the Subcommittee on Crime for Congress.
Could you put his name into the Facebook chat?
I don't see it.
Or repeat the name and I'll write it in the chat. And I'll have them
sorry. My call dropped out.
All right.
All right, notice that. Yeah, you're on 2 connections right now.
Yeah, my bad. The other phone
died.
It just went black on me. I couldn't press any buttons.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, it does it every once in a while. Google Hangouts.
Yeah, it's literally like tweaking out. You try to like pull down the things.
Again, what's the name of the dude that is sitting on the Aaron's Law bill?
Goollatte.
Now this is in relation. You call it to Aaron's Law, right? With Aaron Schwartz. Kind of going on a tangent, but they were going, before he did the act, they were going to charge him 35 years for essentially downloading JSTOR, right?
Yes. 35 years and a $1 million fine.
But Aaron also, in his case, in his defense, he also offered to buy JSTOR, and they wanted like $200 million, right?
I think it was 5 million or 500, but he definitely was trying to save up the money.
Yeah, and I don't know. Now with this, now with the reform of the laws applied to lower end cyber crimes and stuff like that, such as denial of service attacks and stuff like that.
Right. It basically, it's trying to decriminalize the lower, cyber crimes that they nail people for. I mean, like what they nailed Weave for.
Well, all we did was add a 0. He just added a 1 and whatever to the password on iCloud. Was it Apple or .me?
Yeah. AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah, you said he went to prison for arithmetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, yeah. I met him on Facebook. I don't know, but that's a different story. Anyway. Oh.
Redirect.
I just think I just destroyed my desk. I don't know how that just happened. But yeah, people are going to jail, for up to 10 years for essentially simple scripts out there, DDoS scripts.
They tried using the CFAA against PayPal 14.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that famous rape. Remember the rape case? The rape case where there was an anon.
Steubenville?
Yeah, there was an anon. I believe he was an anon.
KY anon.
Non-Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a gang rape that had happened, and he hacked whatever he needed to get for the case, and he's doing 25 years while the guys who did the crime are already out. Am I correct?
Yeah,
yes.
They only got like a year and a half or even less than that, I think, or they might have even just been released because they were young.
I think one of them got out. Didn't he get out because they said he had a plea bargain saying that he was missing out on his college education or some shit like that? I don't know.
I have no idea if that's true. That's heinous.
It's ridiculous.
He's definitely one of the anons that we're trying to raise awareness for. I mean, not many people really know about him.
Or even Aaron's Law, Oh, I'm hearing myself talk. Somebody on speaker?
Not me.
No.
Nope.
Oh, that's weird.
That's kind of creepy.
So this.
I can hear myself too.
So the CFAA law could be, let's just say like Well, I'm hearing myself talk again. Let's just say that I access my girlfriend's email account without her consent, and that could be applied to me, and I can get 35 years in prison.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
yes. You would violate the CFA law. You would be charged. The whole nine.
Damn,
That's the thing.
Ruthlessly.
We live our lives online. And if you're not careful, you don't cover your tracks like most people, then they can literally piece together your life. I mean, you can go back and look at all the things you ever entered into Google. You can do that yourself. What do you think they do?
So would this even apply to falsifying information on anything you're doing on the internet, or is it just this is just unauthorized access?
Any breach of terms of service as well. So that's where the lying online comes into, especially is because, can't use anything but your real name. Okay, that doesn't happen. Lying about your age, your weight on a dating app, all that. It's the terms of service. I would say it's the worst on that.
What about
To answer your question, I don't think it does apply. I don't think that's in Aaron's law.
Oh, what is it?
I don't think so. I'm not
Wait,
too
what?
sure. I think
Oh, violating the terms of service?
That is part of Aaron's law. That's part of what they're amending, what they're proposing. Again, let's see. I'll try to pull up the exact wording.
Yeah, no
For
worries.
terms of service and less crime time, they'll make it where you can't be charged federal as well as state and stack the time on top of each other as well.
For violating terms of service?
In general, for the CFAA.
I'll fix my desk later. It just fucking fell apart. But so even those party apps, like you got a party app, right? Those evil, those we call it falsifying your let's say you don't want somebody to know who's calling you, right? So you get one of those apps that change your phone number to somebody else. You make a phone call, you've already violated the CFAA, right?
Yes.
yeah, you would.
So I get 35 years in prison for falsifying my phone number on a phone call.
Oh, yeah, because you're hiding who
I
you
believe
are
it's
and you're
10 years.
impersonating someone else.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I think per count, it's up to 10 years. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the high, but they stack them on top of each other, so it's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, like in Lawyer Love's case, that's 3 different jurisdictions charging him federally.
And this all came out because of a film with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. They were scared
They used
shitless.
a clip from the movie as evidence in the hearings. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
And and I'd watched the video. He was talking about how they had, said that, oh, these kids are out there, and they hacked into our codes for our nuclear weapons. And he's like, yeah, I don't think that happened.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say
know,
because the nuclear codes, all the nuclear facilities back then were all closed landlines, closed networks.
Right.
There really wasn't a way to hack them, and in fact, then some of the nuclear missile guidance systems are so old that they're still using 5.5-inch floppy disks for the guidance system. They still have them running.
Oh my God!
I am serious.
That's not. The government says that it'll cost too much money for them to replace the floppies. That's what they say.
I just say it's lazy. Yeah. We might have nuclear capability, guys, but we don't know if this shit works anymore. I think that they're still hooked up to the old Commodore 64s, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. They were in the movie.
Lost me there.
But yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, this seems silly. You know, the crime should fit the time. You know, so if I accessed at your email or my email or somebody else's email without them knowing about it, okay, I get fucking 10 years. While if I throw a rock at a cop car, I only get 18 months. Makes absolutely no fucking sense to me.
Yeah. And there was another CFA case, Adam Naffa. He only got probation, but his case is scary because they tracked this kid simply because he put a YouTube video out there for something called Operation Telecom, and it was back when AT&T and Verizon were trying to do this net neutrality thing before. And he put out this video saying how they were gonna, go after people. They tracked him for like 6 months online. I'm talking about both in person and online, in his internet forums. And it was all because he posted a video, an anonymous video. In the complaint that the FBI agent states, she says that, now this is what they're saying is criminal. He claims to be a member of Anonymous. And that he claims to be a member and that he espoused extreme anti-establishment views. That's what they're saying that he did that was criminal.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Well, on the internet forums, they say that he threatened, the guys who own Verizon and that he threatened Republican leaders. And that's why, the FBI got involved because he made threats against, state leaders or whatever. But if you really look at the indictment, it's some of the worst monitoring, like some Orwellian state shit that I've seen.
Yeah, sounds like it. So you guys are planning something in September, am I correct?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be out protesting. I don't want to give the location where I'm at, but it's gonna be in Massachusetts, and we're just saying September for now. We're not gonna say the date. Everyone will find out the dates, but I feel like if we tell the dates, then they're just gonna be there waiting for us, and we're gonna give out a couple false locations to hopefully mislead them to where we're actually locating, because really if they know, then it turns into a lot of people getting arrested because they just set you up.
Yeah.
And we've got protest locations nationwide, well, more than nationwide, don't we, at this point?
Yeah, we got Paraguay.
Yeah.
Paraguay.
Yeah, we got Paraguay.
Spain checked in, said that they're going to protest. LA, 10 best spots. Hopefully, we can get out for protests.
Oh, we're going to get Brazil, Chile, Venezuela, Germany, Norway, Sweden.
Wonderful.
Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, it's not
this is like
issue.
Everybody. Like if you follow, if you want to bring out, free Jeremy Hammond signs or free Lori Love signs, bring those signs out to help carry like their trends on Twitter. Raise awareness for who these people are. Don't just represent the CFA. There's real people and real families that have been destroyed by this law.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Jeremy Hammond's getting out till 2020, something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that even.
And Jeremy Hammond's another example of how, tracking. You talk about somebody who obviously was good at being anonymous, and they set him up like a terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah, and he exposed what the government was doing with the Stratford hack, which is kind of funny because Sabu gave him the zero-day tools, and Sabu was working with the FBI.
Yeah, we're
So
talking
essentially-
about from June 9th on, because he was indicted on the 8th. So June 9th on, he was a member of the FBI, 24-hour surveillance on him. They say sometimes the FBI sat side by side at his computer.
The FBI gave him the 0 days, right?
Yeah, the FBI gave him the vulnerabilities for almost every single hack, that big hack that went down. If you think about before the FBI got involved, LOSEC was hacking Fox News. They were hacking
PBS.
Sony and companies like that. They weren't hacking SOCA. They weren't hacking the FBI, CIA, Tango Down. None of that stuff was happening. It's when they got the 0 days just handed to them. It's the same. It's like the cops, you know. It's like two cops sitting in a car watching somebody break into a car, watching him steal the radio, and then being like, all right, let's go arrest him.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the U.S. government, the FBI, had LulzSec, Jeremy, and the others hack what I think was 29 different countries. They directed the hacks of foreign governments abusing Anons. And they did this with the help of Sabu. And my personal theory, Sabu 2 and 3 too. And they are still working among us.
I believe it.
Yeah, that's facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If I'm not going to get into some scary stories, but I totally believe you. I have a few. Yeah, but essentially...
I'm going to stop there.
Go ahead.
I'm going to stop there. I almost started naming names, but I won't do that.
Well, let's just say, how should I say this vaguely? Sometimes the people that you think you're in contact with are not who you're in contact with. That's all I can say.
Yep.
Well, I have at least 2 friends that are now in jail. That tells me that they signed over the rights to their social media accounts to the FBI.
Yeah, the FBI has these consent forms. Matt Derhart signed one way back in 2009. It basically, man, it's everything. Even your phone calls, they can like answer your phone as you. They can, go on your social media accounts as you, pose as you.
That doesn't make any sense why an authority can have any of that kind of, well, they pretty much do whatever they want, So.
Yeah, and like, you don't have any choice to sign this consent form or not.
I'm so happy I live in Norway and not in the US.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I once knew this kid. Go ahead.
CFAA is like a Damocles sword hanging all over you. And you don't even have to be an activist or a hacker. All you have to be is an activist. Lace your boots and go to protest an oil pipeline and boom, you're a fucking terrorist. It's crazy. I think 18 states now have made laws that makes it extra fucking illegal to protest. So if you step into a roadway, you can get fucking 30 years or something just for walking into the road while protesting.
Yeah, and they're saying that like if you protest and say like you do a big protest in Chicago and you make like Macy's and all those companies shut down, those companies can sue the protesters for their economic losses.
Yeah, economic terrorism, they're calling it.
Yeah.
They even made.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the most of the U.S. is bullshit now, headed by the bullshit monster. It's called Trump, but
President Oompa Loompa.
What?
President Oompa Loompa.
Oh, that's a good name.
Hey, that was a good movie. Don't ruin that movie.
Hey, he kind of does look like an Oompa Loompa now that you say about it. You say something about it. Anyway.
But seriously, even in New Jersey, they've managed to make Antifa, anti-fascists, in the category of terrorists.
Yeah, Anonymous in America is definitely labeled a terrorist organization.
I think we were listed as I can't verify it, but there was a snapshot that one of my friends had shown me saying that we were up on the terrorist list, but I can't verify it. Anybody verify that?
Especially now, I mean, you got like Anonymous, a lot of like anon sects are claiming, the WannaCry, and then the new data breaches for Bitcoins. So I think if we aren't there, they're gonna try to put us there.
Well, all you have to do is protest something that stops, an oil company or a bank from doing business. You're defined as a terrorist, and basically you're fucked.
Yeah, even straight activism. Like, I know me, I have like at least 26 disturbing the peace, or you know what I mean, like disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and those are all from activist events. That's not because, that's from standing there protesting. Of course, there's people, who go crazy, but the cops like to come up to the protest and pick out the quiet guy. I'm picking out the crazy dude who's throwing shit. They want to go next to him.
Let's just go after the guy that's doing nothing in the corner, right?
Exactly.
I can speak from experience on that.
Now there was a bill that was coming out, and it tried to pass in Arizona, but it failed. And there's 17 other states that I didn't follow along what they but I was following along with, because we had a show on it on how they were going to if your protest had incited any kind of violence or anything like that, the planners could be they could take their homes, foreclose at. Whoa, my internet's doing a hiccup. It's fine now. But they could take their homes and their property, all based on other people's actions at a protest. And that didn't pass, but stuff like this, we will see laws like this come up over and over and over again. We are gradually losing our rights one by one in this country. Our right to protest, our right to put our opinion out there, stuff like that.
It's even more reason why we need to fight net neutrality as well as for air as well.
Yes.
They're silencing the people that are speaking out one by one, and they're going to keep doing it as long as people are saying things that they don't approve of.
Yes. Am I coming in clear to our viewers? My internet's doing a hiccup. Shoot, why do I not have audio? Yeah, I noticed that too. George, on my feed. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm broadcasting audio. I'm just not seeing it on the app. Other people can hear us.
If you can hear us, retweet this and share it.
Yeah. Give us a like if you can hear this. Oh yeah, Jane says he can hear us. Okay, so I guess just myself and a few other people can't. And I'm broadcasting, I can't even hear it. Oh well.
Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Start again. Sorry.
me see if one of our guys in the back wants to get on. Hold on. Alan, are you there? Alan? Alan? Yeah, I don't think Alan's awake. Oh well. Well, what were we at? About
Question for you, Patrick.
Do we have questions from our guests or from the viewers? I can check right now. Any questions for the viewers? We have a 15-second delay. Okay, we got a winky face. Got a winky face. Chewy. You see. People listen to fake news such as CNN and have reality that doesn't even apply to the real world. Oh.
Yeah, and that's how all the internet will become if you don't stop net neutrality. The whole internet will be like CNN.
Oh, just a facade, a fake? Yeah.
Yeah, just putting in front of you what they want you to see.
Yeah, there's actually stuff like that that's even going on right now. .xyz domains are indexed by Google, so you would see that to the more the .biz, .coms.
Right.
Yeah, you would see a lot of that going on. Yeah.
That's crazy.
When you on the radio next, how do you support Anonymous in jail?
You can go to freeanons.org. There's a bunch of stuff there to contact them all. The Courage Foundation sponsors a bunch of them, like Matt DeHart and Lori Love. And they have their contact info there, ways to donate there, and ways to mail to them, to write to them.
What was the question again? I'm in the advisory board of Free Anons.
I think, let me see, Free Anons. Let me see, Free Anons.
How to write to Anons.
What was the question? How do you help Anons in jail?
To write to Anons, to write to Jeremy Hammond, to write Lori Love, is what the question is.
Well, yeah, how do you support Anonymous in jail? That was a question.
Well, yeah, Anonymous is too wide, but all you do is, you search for the Anon you want to support, a hashtag or whatever. You contact Free Anons and talk to us, and we'll get you the address. And the way to support is to donate money to Free Anons or donate directly to an actual prisoner, to his, what do you call it? The fund? So you
commissary.
His commissary. So he can buy toothpaste and toothbrushes, or you can actually send him books or anything else. But I know for a fact that what the jail people like the most is getting letters, because it tells them they're not alone, and they feel less alone. That's what they love the most, when somebody comes in with a letter and they hear that they're appreciated and what they did meant something to those on the outside. So writing a letter, giving some money, or sending books or whatever. Also, simply tweeting their name and pointing to what they've done is really important, because one of the worst things that the families of jailed Anons or their Anons themselves in jail can experience is to be forgotten. So that's basically it.
We got another question. It's an ABB. Please, by all means, disclose how you feel on personal perception via net neutrality. Personally, I can let our guests talk. Personally, this will destroy the internet as we know it. That's just the way that I see it. If it goes any further and we don't change it, I do see, and I did talk about this earlier in the show, that you will see a larger smaller webs. People moving towards there. Alternative ways to access the internet, fast lanes, and even outsourcing non-ordinary means of getting fast lane access to the internet. I do think that you would see more censorship going on. You might see sites such as WikiLeaks moved completely off of ClearNet and onto the dark webs, smaller networks, stuff like that. But you guys can comment about that question as well if you want. The question was by all means disclose how you feel on personal perception via net neutrality.
If you don't mind, to me, this is so simple that there is simply no way to oppose net neutrality. I'm going to try to use what do you call it, a simile or whatever. Let's say you have a road between A and B, a road between one city to another, and you could only travel that road with your car if it was a Volvo or BMW. If you drove any other car, you couldn't drive it because the make of your car, they didn't pay the owners of the road a fuckload of money. That's what the Comcast and Verizon is trying to make happen. The internet should be free for everybody to use as they please, and the infrastructure owners shouldn't be able to steal our money or decide who can walk the road or who cannot walk the road. To me, it's very simple. The internet is just like air. It's free for all. Do I make sense or?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I agree.
Well said.
That.
Yes, 100%. I totally agree with you. Yep. Let's see.
The only way.
Go ahead.
If we see these mini webs all over the place, I mean, and that is also in its own way going to stifle creativity. It's going to stifle certain voices from being heard.
Yeah, I was going to end with this. If because the only people that would oppose net neutrality are corporations that wants to make money of the opposite of net neutrality. That's the only way you can be against it.
Yeah, only people against net neutrality are capitalists.
Big business, yeah.
I hear in some parts of the world, it's even illegal to gather rainwater on your own roof.
Oh yeah, Yes.
It's totally motherfucking sick. Like air is for everybody, rain is for everybody, and how do you let a company control the access of water to people? There are some things that are basic human rights, and I'm sorry, but the EU and the United Nations have said that access to the internet is a basic human right. I don't think they're wrong. I think the US and France and China and Russia and the UK are in the very wrong. I don't know if you heard, but Russia plans to outlaw VPN use in 2018 because they want to be
China too, correct?
China already did.
Yeah, well,
okay.
China, of course, they almost have an intranet, not internet, and Iran is trying to do the same.
Gotcha.
So it's bad everywhere. In countries like China and Russia, they do it openly and honestly. In the US, they fuck with us simply to earn money, and they do it in I don't know, underhanded way, in trying to make it sound like everything's all right, but it's bad all over. You guys talked about earlier about the government demanding that you would need to identify yourself to even access the internet.
Uh-huh.
They're actually trying to do that actively in the UK right now. And they're doing it by saying pornography is bad, and if you're under 18, you shouldn't be seeing naked tits. So therefore, we have to identify everybody to find out if they're over 18, so we can protect the children. But it's all bullshit. The only reason they're doing that is because they want to control us all, take away our freedom. So we can call it net neutrality and make it complicated, but it's not about that. It's about the government trying to protect themselves from the people. And the governments are, of course, run by the corporations. So it's time to move the power of the corporations and the governments back to the fucking people. The government should be there for the people, not the other way around. Mini rant over. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's the way I perceive it. You know, that our political system and our governments have far exceeded their bounds, and are power-hungry psychopaths, and they don't understand that they're, you know, like just exactly like you said, they are supposed to serve the people, not themselves. But that's not what's going on, you know.
Kathy, to answer your question, what do we need to do to help ourselves? Pay attention to your politicians. They all don't just speak in quiet. They do speak a little bit in public. Watch what they say, how they act. If there's the news focusing on something big, try to see if there's something small. Just educate yourself.
Let me see any. Let me see. Jay says, maybe at some point you guys could post some articles in a thread by bypassing censorship and different methods to get around those things. To be honest with you, bypassing censorship, you know, posting the links, closed links, you know, with brackets around them, or writing out certain things is not, you know. To be honest with you, you know, if you're trying to do, if you're talking about censorship on social media, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be posting stuff like that on Facebook. It's going to get censored anyway.
If I may?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're wanting to learn how to bypass censorship, look into Operation Egypt. That's one of the biggest cases where they shut down their internet, and activists, anonymous hacktivists were able to help them while being censored and having their internet shut, still communicate. That would be the #1 start to look at.
Anonymous has always been a part of combating censorship, be it Turkey or during the Arab Spring. One of the main tools has been, let's say, an organization called Telecomics, helping to set up a way for citizens in countries that have been tried silenced. It has happened in Palestine 5 or 6 times. And there are also actually companies like WhatsApp that are trying to combat the attempted censorship of the Middle Eastern countries, like in Saudi Arabia, etc. Whisper systems that deliver signal to both iOS and Android are doing the same. So there is work going on everywhere trying to combat censorship. And the only way to combat censorship in Facebook is to be really smart about it and use several accounts and publish material from 15 different angles at the same time, and trying to stay ahead of their attempts to censor you. You have to adapt and work really hard to do it. But it is possible. It is still possible. But, you know, Facebook is not a place for free speech. Facebook is a place for the Zuckerbergs and their stock owners to earn money. We just have to understand that. Same goes for Twitter. It's not a place for free speech. It's a place for Twitter to try to earn money before they go bankrupt in less than a year, I presume.
No, I wasn't aware that that Twitter was in such a bad position financially.
Twitter has been trying to get investments for, I don't know, 14 months now, but every company that has taken a look at them have said no. So they're on their last leg. Is that English?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, and to be honest, Silicon Valley isn't behind Twitter anymore either. They call it the greatest thing that never happened.
Well, they tried to save Twitter by bringing Jack back.
Fuck, dude.
But it hasn't helped. And now they're catering to the alt-right and to the Trumps and Trumpettes, and it's not really working.
Well, I think the biggest downfall of Twitter was, and I use Twitter, was the limitation of characters to like the size of a text message. You know.
Yeah.
That could have been a downfall. That could have been a huge downfall. You know, you got all the bells and whistles. You got the video plugins. You can do live video. You can do pictures, but you're still limited to 156 characters. Am I correct? 160, right?
Yep.
That would have been the biggest downfall. Let me see.
But the people on the internet, if that's even a thing, are going to keep evolving, and we're going to find ways to talk to each other securely, whatever censorship methods they try to, I don't know, invoke. like Russia banning VPNs in 2018. Tech companies and people are going to find a way around it. We're going to have mesh nets. We're going to have decentralized applications. We're going to have all sorts of new P2P ways of making sure that it's impossible to censor any information. We're just right now in limbo and not really sure how to handle the grip that major mainstream corporations have taken control over our internet. But we will always find a way, because we are millions. We are actually billions. We will always find a way. We'll get super really angry and maybe extra hungry, and enough people will lace their boots and really rebel. Let's hope that it doesn't mean that we have to cut the heads of royalty like they did in France in, what was it, 1789 or something. But something's got to give, because all the billionaires have moved their money to islands and robbed the middle class and the poor of all of our money. But at some point, everybody's going to get so mad, there's going to be a rebellion or a revolution so big that there will be a big change.
What is this? I think we addressed that. What happened with that attempt to buy as a co-op Twitter? Facebook. It's not about cash. It's about free will and domination. Any other questions from our guests?
No.
Anything? So for the Aaron's Law people, what's your guys' website again?
We have two different. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Now go ahead. My connection's bad.
We have two different websites, aarons-law.org, as well as opstanduptocfaa.org. The Aaron's Law one is just to bring awareness of what Aaron's Law is, and then the Op Stand Up to CFAA is about the upcoming protests and the three phases that it's going through.
And I think you said the first phase was awareness, right?
Yes, the first phase is awareness. Once we start gaining enough awareness, then we're going to go to phase 2, which is bringing it up to politicians, the Congress, letting them know that you know what's going on and that you need change. And then in September, we're going to actually get boots on the ground.
Oh yeah, boots on the ground. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. I was like, "What are you guys doing about boots on the ground?" I was like, "Wait, what are you guys planning on destroying?"
No.
It's time for the revolution.
No, it's going to be a peaceful and a legal protest. We made a promise to a very special person to us, Aaron's mom, and we intend on keeping that to the best of our ability.
Now, I was gonna say, so far I've heard people with a collective NIDs, but now, was Aaron's girlfriend involved in any of this, helping you guys out?
At the moment, no. The only people that actually knew Aaron that communicated with us are when they reach out to us. We're trying to not bring up negativity around him, or if something does happen, it be reflected upon his friends and family. We're trying to do it at least right now on our own. Maybe down in the future we can work with them, but at the beginning stages we rather separate them for at least right now.
I gotcha. Alan?
Yeah, what's going on?
Any thoughts on this?
I really came in on the dark, First of all, I think it's terrible that this guy was facing 35 years for basically trying to access knowledge. It's not like he's trying to hack, the DOD or reset or file sale America. He's trying to become smarter. They're going to lock you up for 35 years. And like you guys said earlier, people who commit rape or armed robbery get, 4 years, 6 years. And here's a guy who probably has no prior offenses. And, if he does, they're probably minor, like, noise infractions or something. And this guy's right out of the gate, get 35 years. But all the system where the prison industrial complex wants to reach, that maximum capacity of 5.5%, so they can ultimately release everyone that they have in custody, create a state of panic, get martial law, and then create more of a tightened hold on America. I mean, that seems to be the plan. We're already at 4.4%, and that's up, 0.9 in 2 years. So it's sad. But, what have you guys done? Have you guys gotten any attention with your state legislators at all about this?
We've got a little bit from Senator Wyden. We were really hoping for a little bit more. I know he's been real busy, but he's a superstar, man. He really is a fighter for internet freedom. We've been working on it. We've reached out to a lot. They haven't had a whole lot to say, but.
All right. I hate to say it, but, and I'm not really a left or a right guy, but maybe we should approach some of these Democratic politicians, because they need an identity right now, and maybe they're willing to take this the extra step. I mean, regardless of whoever our state representatives are, I think it's imperative to all the viewers tonight or listeners to at least call their state legislators and at least, like you guys said, keep them informed on what's going on. So at least the state legislators can tell our congressmen and senators how we feel, or at least they're getting some kind of call so they know to, like you said, be careful. All right, that was my 2 piece.
You're right. It's not a left or right thing. This is a human thing. It's the internet's at stake. Whether it's net neutrality, CFAA, the internet's under attack.
And so if this net neutrality goes into America, does that mean people like in, our friends in the UK and Europe, do they get affected by this too? And where does this net neutrality stop?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, but that's a really good question.
I was under the impression it would only affect domestic-based internet access and internet ISPs, but there's a problem there as well because of the way that people connect internationally. This would affect them as well, but I think you would see the most impact domestically.
No.
Yeah.
Do you think that they'd ever go after the rest of the international community and try and influence what we have in America over in France or the UK, or do you think you'd actually have all-out riots as opposed to, I hate to say it, but lazy Americans, you know? We just take it with a smile.
Right.
So even, you know,
I don't know.
guys... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm afraid that once it gets started, it may be, you know, hard to stop. It might be more widespread once they get their noses into it. I don't want to go down.
Well, I think George is saying is that Theresa May has been pushing for something similar in the UK. I was talking to a white hat in India. I think he said it didn't. They went through something similar over there, but it didn't go through. But you know, as Raymond was saying, that you know, this is not just a U.S. thing. This has been going on around the world. You know.
So it looks like we have late viewers that are asking what Aaron's Law is.
Well, Aaron's Law is just to clarify more what the CFAA is. The wording is so broad that they're able to apply it to so many different things, including terms of service agreements, and unauthorized access is a big one. They haven't defined that. And the redundant provisions, being able to up the charges so the people being prosecuted are faced with decades behind bars.
And Aaron's Law would give definition to those broad words, as well as make it where you can't be charged federal as well as state, double the time, and then make terms of service, reword the terms of service part to make it where you won't be a felon for saying you're 36 when you're 35.
Right, because right now they're viewing terms of service as a contract, that you're in breach of a contract, and nobody reads that shit. You know, I mean, nobody reads it. They do that on purpose, and they can change their terms of service at any time, and you are still held liable for knowing what they are, and they don't have to notify anyone. So it's just a big mess, and it needs to be clarified at the very least. Now, this isn't going to give all the reform we need for the CFAA, but it is a great starting point. It will give us at least a leg to stand on to know what we're fighting against, because right now the wording's so broad, they can just use it anywhere.
So I was reading in the news that they said that net neutrality was on its first leg on going down. Did anyone else read that article?
No. Who posted that?
It was on The Guardian or something like that, I believe, today. I just scrolled past it and window licked the headline, but I'd be interested to... I think it was something Jeff Sessions said.
Jeff Sessions, he's crazy. He wanted to illegalize marijuana again.
Yeah, he's got a real problem. But I think there's the problem with the United States as well, is, you know, we get all these guys and, you know, conservatives or whatever that get comfortable with the people in office. And, you know, for the past 17 years with this war on terrorism and war on citizenship, you know, the country and the world has just suffered for it. And hopefully next election, state and government, people will, you know, show up and actually vote for fresh blood, because at least it takes them a little while to be corrupted.
Hopefully these dark times wake people up. So it's not going to get any better, not unless we fight.
Exactly.
The state of the way that the world is right now is because we're lazy. We let this happen.
That's true.
We let the governments and dictate what we did. People became less and less involved in politics. The few activists that we have now They have a good head on their shoulders, or are slim. As far as the majority of the population, and their voices, don't mean shit until we start doing something about what's going on in the state of the world, and got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's only getting worse, because some states are actually trying to form a bill coming next year to where, I think we talked about this earlier, where you'd have to pay your internet service provider a extra fee to view adult images, and all of us or none of us, whatever, may or may not look at porn, but the fact that they're hiding this under a Child Endangerment Act, so they're saying that basically this is going to save the children, viewing on the internet. But at the same time, they're saying it's okay to look at it for a certain price. So, you see a lot of these laws being, hypocrisy, or, I don't know those big words, but, it's going to get worse.
So you're going to see underage kids stealing their dad's credit cards to look at porn.
Yeah, and hiding under the banner of it's for your safety. That's how they always get it through.
Yeah, and they usually try and piggyback on bills. You'll hear like a medical bill coming through, and then at the very end on subject E, they'll 2 paragraphs of the real FU on the subject, and it's just shady business.
Yeah, they're really bad about that with transportation bills, right? They'll throw so much into transportation bills because nobody reads that.
Yep, and it's going to get worse because where I live in our state, they're actually voting in our state legislation right now to whether they're actually going to read the bills on the floor at all to be voted on. So they're basically just going to say yay or nay, and no one's going to really know what it means unless they read it in their own time. And that's just, that's never going to happen.
There's been Congress members who have admitted that voted on Trump Care that didn't even read it.
Oh. We got a comment in the chat. What are the most important things listeners can do right now to help Aaron's Law, and how do they have to organize street protests in their own cities?
Right now, we're really trying to get the awareness raised and let people know about it. People usually react the same way to this. Oh, this should be taken care of. This is horrible. But we need people to rally behind it. And so we need to contact our representatives. We need to make some noise and try this route. And as far as the protests, at the Aaron's Law site that we gave earlier, Aaron's/law. We have a sign-up sheet for protests in cities. Obviously, you don't have to give any personal information, just so we have some kind of idea where things are going to be. But yeah, and if you contact us there, one of us will get back to you. And we'd really love everybody's support and help with this, because it's huge for all of us.
Yeah. Contact your local legislators, and if you do a protest, make sure you do it at your local Capitol building, so that way people on the weekend, driving around with their families, get a hint of, what's going on, and they might go home and Google that, so you might just, be the virus that spreads.
And if you can't make it to the Capitol, don't give up. Go to your local area, politician's area, whether it be where they hang out, whether it be where they work. If you can't make it to a Capitol, when you guys stay where you are, there's plenty of ways that you can help.
True that. I agree.
Yes.
And the piggyback on what she was saying is... Am I echoing for anyone else?
What?
Am I echoing?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody sounds like a duck.
Oh my.
Anyway, you were talking, what were you going to say?
Still going?
I was wondering if there was any other court cases we could cite that people have been punished for the same amount of time and done the same type of time. that might help also to bring up to your legislatures to say, hey, you know, there's been X amount of people tried under this, and they're doing 35 years for nonviolent crime.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll get that together. That's a good, that information, but that would be nice to have.
Now, wasn't this law used against even Barrett, right? For sharing a link.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You know, and if this ever goes to a trial or, you know, any kind of hearing, just make it clear that Bernie Madoff stole billions of dollars of our money, and he pretty much got off scot-free. But someone like this who did, you know, nothing of the same crime got way more time.
For just wanting to spread knowledge. In fact, he didn't even, Aaron didn't even distribute the articles that he got from JSTOR. He gave them all back. Am I correct on that?
I was under the impression he was just compiling them. Now, the only thing he was guilty of was he did use a jacked connection from MIT. No. Mm-hmm. He used a little bit of shell magic from the MIT connection to access the JSTOR. That's the only thing that he's guilty of. Like, I think, but he, because essentially there was a cutoff on how much you could download at a time from JSTOR, and he got through that by using a little bit of shell magic.
Yeah, and he was downloading them simultaneously, which is what alerted them.
Yeah, and the thing was that they found his laptop in the basement of one of the wings or something, and the FBI saw him. Yeah, they saw the FBI put a camera in there, like honeypotted him. You know, it's like you know, like what are you waiting for? You know, like you got him, you got him. You don't.
Wasn't it MIT that put the camera in there though?
No, it was the FBI.
Either way, they could work together because did you notice when Comey did his farewell speech, he did it at MIT, which those guys work hand in hand.
Lovely.
You know, and another thing I would look at is I would look at the state district attorney when all this happened, and I'd also look at the state federal prosecutor. You know, if we can get those people's names out there and expose a little bit of heat and maybe some of their other poor decisions in, you know, the court of law, that might be able to help too. Get these guys out.
Carmen Ortiz is the big bad guy behind this. I mean, she is the wolf. I mean, she came after Aaron. She's come after many others. She may have just stepped down recently, but she's went after them viciously. She's the one that had said that Aaron, it was the same as if he would have violently stolen something from someone, you know.
Yeah, used a gun crime. I'd be curious on who appointed her to her office. That'd be interested. I might Google that after the show, or someone is hearing this show could do that. That'd be interesting to know where she came from or who appointed her.
Good thought.
It's terrible stuff. You know, you even see judges out here who try and go against these mandatory minimums, and then you get a federal prosecutor that comes in like 4 years later and will appeal the judgment, and they'll send these people right back to prison for the minimum mandatory. So it's technically not double jeopardy, but it's just a shady way of, you know, putting 60-year-old, 70-year-old, you know, family men, single moms in prison. And it's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, in all these cases, you will find Judge Prescott and Carmen Ortiz, and they're all shady cases.
There's even a case that was in 1998 of a high schooler who he wasn't even touching a computer. He did an underground newspaper at his school, and the school board went after him using the CFAA because in the underground newspaper it was talking about hacking. He never did anything. He just talked about it.
Wow.
They applied it to him for writing articles about hacking?
Yeah.
But that all encompasses the National Security Act of, I think, 1958. So anything that they can view as a conspiracy, they can charge you on. But, you know, when you get that thrown at you, what you need to do is just say, hey, it's another word for coalition. And always take it to jury, you know, and I'm telling you, you might have a shot. But that's why they keep things so open. Is anyone who might expose knowledge, the truth, or anything like that is going to be completely taken out of the mix.
And it's worth mentioning, Aaron had to fight this for 2 years, and spent tons of money on his defense, as well as the fact that they had never even handed over all of the evidence against him after 2 years. The whole thing is shady, and he was treated real badly. And
yeah, the judges will go, they'll say that you can't even cite the Constitution in the court, which that's one of the things that they, or swear by or whatever the heck, that's what their law is practiced under. In some of these courtrooms, it gets really crazy what you can and cannot say, or even if you go to appeal, you can't use the stuff that got you off before. It's just, it's a circus. It's basically, what would you call that? A kangaroo court. And most people don't know that the Constitution has actually legally been suspended since 1856.
Yep.
So we really haven't had habeas corpus or whatever since then. And that's why you see these trials taking forever and ever. And that's for getting pleas out of people. You spend so much time suffering in the hole in a GP that finally you're just going to be no contest, where you just don't want to fight and you just take a plea. It's terrible.
Right.
And
that's what they count on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you first.
I was just going to say that's what they count on too. They count on piling up these charges where you won't go to a jury trial. You will plea out. Right. It's not just for the CFAA, but they don't want you to go to jury trial. Go ahead.
What? I was just going to read off one of the questions from Jay Wilson. So what are the plans if we lose the fight for net neutrality and legislators go against public opinion, as they quite often do? Once again, hats off to those at Aaron's Law.
Well, thank you. And, I don't know, me personally, I do hope they listen to public opinion, but I expect them to continue to ignore it. And as far as what happens then, that's going to be a harder question. I think people are going to be real mad.
After that, maybe you plea your course to a special UN Council hearing. That would be the next step if you want to go keep it legal.
The UN does have they are now in. ICANN was given to the UN recently.
Then if no one listens, to prepare for the worst and just look out for yourself and expect bad things to come.
Jay, my response would be a quote from Aaron. What is the most important thing you could be working on in the world right now? And if you're not working on that, why aren't you? If we lose net neutrality, why are we going to stop? You don't stop. The war's still going.
I agree.
I'm with you.
Yeah, human life will always find a way. We'll find a way, just like a couple of the other people have said, we'll always create ways to bypass the system or communicate securely or keep it, we'll find a way. It might take a little bit to learn the curve, but we'll get there. Maybe, a good thing to start mastering too is buy one of those Baofeng digital ham radios off Amazon, and you take a local class or go on the internet and check those out, because those might come in handy pretty soon.
I was going to say, can't you send data over ham as well?
I believe with the advanced digital ones, yes, you can.
That's cool.
And what's good about an analog signal is it actually takes 3 different tracking signals to get you down, as opposed to digital, which is a 1-for-1 exchange.
Yeah. Hello, ham radio closed network.
Right.
There, I've been seeing a couple of, closed wireless networks, straight floating around. You might see stuff like that get bigger.
Yep. Privatized. I think that's what they're trying to move everything to. Is they're privatizing everything, healthcare, even government. It's going to be like Elysium or Idiocracy at some point. It's what plants crave.
Well, I'm pretty sure. The pioneers of the internet would not be smiling at what's going on.
Well, and I don't know too much about the internet, but can you still use like the Tor server and stuff like that to communicate, or will that encompass the Tor stuff too?
I believe you would be able to, but if an internet service provider had blocked your access to a Tor circuit or to you would not be able to access it.
Okay, yeah, so you're just screwed right out of the gate.
Yeah, but an ISP would do that. They can even tell when you're using a VPN. So.
Well, maybe if there's a rich guy listening, start your own ISP, and you're going to have a bunch of customers.
There are small ISPs that are out there that are not well known about. Like when I was living out in my old location, because I knew that might not have the internet for a while, hence the show. I was surprised how many internet service providers there were in that part of the U.S. But
so, do they actually provide their own internet service, or do they piggyback off, let's say, like AT&T or Time Warner or Cable One or whatever, Qualcomm or whatever's out there?
I don't know. I don't think that I'm not so sure about all of them, but the ones I was looking at looked like they were just their own little internet service provider, local to that area.
Cool. That'd be legit, because you think that the people that would basically funnel down from those major ones would probably have to follow the same terms of service.
Yeah, so. But the speeds were not up to par. No, I'll tell you that.
But really, if we're trying to just communicate, it doesn't have to be that fast, does it? Because we'll just be making our own basic HTML coded websites without too many graphics or anything, just basic code, or not code, but text. So you really wouldn't need that fast of a connection, would you?
No, or
especially for like a forum.
You'd even see BBS, old dial-up BBS networks pop up overnight. I mean, there really is no need for stuff like that, but see a lot more peer-to-peer networks.
Yeah, or one of those super smart guys could find the latitude, longitude, and the declination of a satellite, and if you get good enough, find some way to get into that, because I'm pretty sure some of that stuff that's up there is still PSA encrypted, which is prime number coded or whatever. So, I don't know, it's a shot.
At the end of the day, innovators are going to innovate regardless.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Somebody said, what is SSP? I don't know. I don't know, Matt.
I don't think SSP is anything.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I said ISP. Might have been slurring my words.
Anyway, there's actually no way to keep people off the internet. There have been, I think it's 4 countries now that have tried a 3 strikes law that's supposed to, if you share movies too often, they cut your internet. But it has never worked. All of them have scrapped the programs. And there are too many ways to connect to the internet now. So there's no way stopping people from communicating. We will always find a way.
Agreed.
Looks like we're getting new listeners still asking what Aaron's Law is.
Do you want me to try once more, Nathan?
Sure.
Nathan's Law is an attempt to introduce a law that makes the CFAA not be so harsh. And the CFAA is an antiquated law that makes it possible for prosecutors to really punish hackers or hacktivists or protesters and send them to jail for decades. So it's Aaron's Law is an attempt to make something that's really bad a little bit better. But it's sitting in the committee and not on the Senate floor, and there's no indication that it will be voted on in the near future. How's that?
Very good.
So the whole point is to find a way to get the bill out to the floor so it can get voted on, so that the U.S. government and the prosecutors cannot use the law to silence those of us that, I don't know, try to enforce transparency or hack the government and show how much illegal shit they do.
And one of the ways that you can help with Aaron's Law is by texting resist to 50409. It literally takes 2.5 minutes. By the time you brush your teeth and by the time you finish, you would be able to text a fax to your Congress people. It's that fast, and they actually get it. And you can say whatever you want.
Can you repeat the number slower?
Sure. Text the word resist to 50409.
So resist to 50409. Just put that in the Facebook chat.
I would. Facial band right now.
Facial band.
The point is, I just did, and maybe somebody can pin that. Maybe somebody can.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, resist 50409.
And it's a great service. I use them daily.
What?
The resist bot, just keep using it. Keep getting your word out. I'm sure they've had enough of me, but
like this person's doing this 1,000 times a day. Oh
well. Calamity or calamity? I like the calamity. Can you explain what happens when you actually text to 50409?
It will ask you some information, zip code, things like that, your location, and it will pull up your representatives in the House and Senate, and it'll ask if you want to send to both or just the one, and then you write out what you want to send, and it sends it back, asks you if that's really what you want to send, and you approve it, and it sends it over. They give you back a receipt when it's received, and it usually doesn't take very long at all. They'll also mail it. They will put the bill on the postage and everything else. Just all you got to do is text them, and they'll get it to it.
So you have to be American to do this, right?
I believe so, yes. I did have someone today say they tried it in Canada, and it was not working. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm actually gonna have somebody make an easy spoof thing so that anybody all over the world can do it.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, that's what we call hacking, and maybe we can do that. They get so much paper in their lap that they really bring the bill out to the floor. Who knows?
I wonder if you could use a VoIP free texting service outside of the country using a US-based cell number.
I would think so.
Yeah,
I would think so. Yeah.
that might.
I
work.
haven't tried that, but I would think it would work.
It probably would.
I'm gonna find a solution using actual Skype because you can actually get a US Skype number. So I already have that. So I'm gonna try to get something.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I was going to say certain services they block those free VoIP text services because of the certain ones are blacklisted from certain services on the internet.
Right.
Not all of them are though. I believe the best one out there that I've used to spoof my number is anybody out there who wants to know is Text Me Free. Still works for a lot of stuff.
Could you write that in the
Yeah, I'll
in the
get
thread?
it. Yeah, I'll get the app for iOS and Android. Text me, text me, app. Text me app, Android. Google Play. Yeah, for a while we were still using it for SMS Verify for Facebook till they caught on to it. But if you use, you go to a Twilio lookup or API lookup, it'll show up on reverse. It'll definitely show up that it's a VoIP service. Right now.
Oh, there's always a way. We can go back to creaking.
Yeah, but you can also on the service burn your number, get a new number, all for a fee. So it's kind of cool. See any other comments? Let me see. My internet service provider is very slow and expensive.
I'm sorry.
Here.
That's just funny.
We're going to plan a protest. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, also, we have an announcement. There's an activist that's still missing. We don't know what's happened to him. I've only ran into him a few times in a chat. If you guys know where Alexander Poucher is, you guys can message the ABB page, or you could even message anonymous live stream. Just put in the search bar anonymous live stream or ABB. Even his friends don't even know where he's been missing. I think for a few months now.
Did you say Alex Poucher?
Yeah, Alexander. Alexander. Let me see. I've only ran into him a few times in the chats. Alex Poucher.
But the same guy that we worked with in during Up Ferguson?
And G20, yeah. He's missing.
Oh, you're right. So I haven't seen him around.
Nobody has.
Okay, we'll ask around then. Okay.
Yeah. All I know is that he had some legal stuff come up. don't know. Nobody's heard from him. Not on his social media. He's on Snapchat under, I don't know. I think he has a Snapchat logo on his Facebook page, publicly posted, so you can find him on there. But you can look up Alex Poucher, and he'll show up. I think he has maxed out friends, so I think you can't add him as a friend anyway. So
I know Mark is listening, so please, Mark, just do your thing and let me know in private.
Yeah, like nobody knows where he is. I believe even his phone number is down. Not like him. Alex Poucher, let me look him up again. Yeah. Alex Poucher has his own Snapchat on his logo. That's how you know it's him. He's also vine.co/Alex Poucher, Instagram.com/Alex Poucher, LinkedIn, de.linkedin.com/Alex Poucher, Twitter/Alex Poucher, yeah. MIA.
Have you checked his Patreon?
I don't know if he has a Patreon.
He had. So if you check that, if that too is not active, then something is really wrong.
Yeah. He's on Tumblr, Alex Poucher. Hopefully he's just laying low. Nothing bad happened. Let's see, let me see any more comments. Anonymous writes back. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. My cellular service has decided to cut out. Wonderful. Hold on, let me go back to the Wi-Fi. On the page. I can't even see my own comments. Let me see. I was gonna say since I switched services, like out here, everything sucks really bad. Oh my god. Why am I even paying for cellular service? Any questions, comments from the guests?
Yeah. How long do you usually keep going?
For another half an hour. But we generally have the same amount of or more people. My co-host this was supposed to be here, but I don't know. I think she was doing some stuff today. One more attempt. Any questions or comments from the guests?
Nah.
What?
No, I got nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, we could always end it. We could always end it like a little early, unless you guys oppose otherwise.
I thought it was.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. You know, I had no idea about Aaron's Law until today, and it gives you something to do and to fight for, because you know it's if you don't fight, no one else is going to do it, and you know it starts with us. We can change it.
Agreed. And thanks so much for having us. This has been great. We really appreciate it. And sorry about all the connection problems, but hopefully that'll be better next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely leave this chat open. We'll probably use it for Saturday's show. So tune in. We might have some old guests from last time. Also, for our viewers, we might be doing the show broadcast because we have a large group of Anons that aren't on Facebook anymore and can't even be on Facebook due to account restrictions and bans. So we might be broadcasting next week from YouTube and then reposting it on Facebook or broadcasting to both simultaneously. It all depends on what happens on the test run tomorrow. So just expect a little change. I'm going to look into broadcasting to both at the same time, see if I don't have to pay a pretty penny for it. But we will definitely have some old guests from a few months ago. So stay tuned. All right.
Can I say thank you for having me? I had a lot of fun. And have a good night.
All right. Good night.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.